What's going on, family? Mr. DOLO in the place. Welcome, Mr. Dolo TV, YouTube people. Let me tell you something right now. I got my brothers here today. When I say brothers, I mean brothers here today. This is the Holy Trinity of Nasty Fruit. First off, to the man on the left, the legendary, the DJ's DJ, coming straight from Kingdom Come, the man. But this is DJ Skaz Digga, world-renowned DJ for Big Daddy Kane. He was my DJ first. Skaz Digga in the building. Now,
what up?
Look, now
bro?
the other brother. Look, now the name Nasty Fruit would have never been here if it wasn't for the man down there at the bottom. DJ WIZdom Kenyatta in the building. I'm talking about 704 representative, Nasty Fruit brethren.
City.
You know what it is. You know what it is. Now,
Welcome to Walterboro, South Carolina.
Walterboro. Now look with Skaz. And like I say, everybody is transplant.
Transplanted. We transplanted.
Cause Skaz. Now you a Philly native. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that. I did not know that. So I learned something.
We're transplanted.
Transplanted. You know what I mean?
We made our mark in NC. So we're in.
I'm a 704 cat. I am a born and raised Charlotte dude, and I found myself in the Bull City. I rep it to the day I die now. Like even I just hardcore for me right now. I'm Bull City all day. But the 704, the Queen City still got some love in there. So
That's where it starts.
All right. So look, I want to start from the top with y'all brothers before we get into some real hip hop, other type talking, cause it's some things I wanted to kind of hit y'all with. And the whole point of my channel, to a certain degree, is hip hop over 40, man. You know what I mean? Like, we have a place that, and we need to be making a bridge. So I think right now, this is what's needed. They need to hear from G's. The OGs has been doing this from when they saw Wild Style and done seen it go through all the phases. And it scares me right now that it's somebody out here that has never heard of Big Daddy Kane or has never heard of KRS-One, and I found that out personally right before the verses came out.
Verses, exactly.
Had some young heads over, and we was talking, and I'm like, yo, I'm hype about it, And the first thing that he say is, who is Big Daddy Kane? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I can understand. I almost understand KRS a little bit to a certain degree because he was so underground, but you got to know some songs. But he didn't know KRS-One either. So this is needed right now. So what I want to do first is I kind of want to get humble beginnings of everybody, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and how we all kind of came together. Because this thing right here has been together now for about 25 plus. I might be exaggerating, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's just
about 25 plus, right? Like, yeah.
Decades, man. Let's say decades.
We almost about to hit the 30 plus.
Almost about to be 30.
Yeah. So we got a lot of history, and this is not the first time, family, that y'all gonna see these gentlemen on the catch up. Okay? We gonna be talking. These are the heads that you're gonna need to hear from when we talking about what's going on and where we going. So Skaz, let's start with you first, brother. And like I say, I know, and we all got the same kind of background history, but I think the people need to hear, especially you right now, Skaz, because when I go back to that versus thing, we're gonna have to talk about that seriously. I had to look.
I don't even need not a sidebar. We got to talk about that.
Yeah. But I mean, because I personally had a little on me, but I understand the game, I understand the industry, but we're gonna get to that. So, Digga, man, coming from Philly, let me go ahead and ask you this, and Wiz, you go ahead and prep up. You can go ahead and listen and know that it's coming to you next. What was that thing like say all of us heard hip hop early enough to where it wasn't necessarily like I gotta do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, we heard it so early in our years to where it was something else, it was something, it was somebody, it was something that said, okay, I'm gonna take this element, this is what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rock in this style. So
in this way,
Exactly.
From
So
there.
so Skaz, to you first, you know what I'm saying? What was it that turned you on and said, yo, this is where I'm at. I'm gonna be hip hop to the day I die.
Okay, for me, um, I probably would say more. I was actually I was born in Philly. I moved to North Carolina when I was young, and then moved back to Philly, and then moved back.
Okay.
So actually, I was in North Carolina when I first heard hip hop. But once I moved back to Philadelphia, then I got exposed to, you know, the elements in the sense of it going, full circle to more avenues of it. Like I started just hearing the music at first.
No doubt.
Like I think I left North Carolina probably I want to say 81, 82.
True. True. Okay.
So right in the beginnings of like getting it out to the masses. So once I got to Philadelphia, um, they already had a show that's highlighting hip hop and stuff like that.
Radio show.
Lady
Radio
B.
show.
Yep, Lady B. So
No
I was
doubt.
a youth just listening, getting inspired, and then I got into the graffiti aspect and the b-boy dance aspect probably around the same time.
Okay.
And I guess
Okay.
that probably would have been more inspirational based on the movies that was out, where you had your Wild Styles, and then it came with the Break In and the Beat Street. So those were my early inspirations that had the elements. So that's what made me do those things. I didn't necessarily desire to rhyme or to DJ at that point per se.
Well, yo, you know what? I think one thing that we all got in common is that we all started out dancing. I think that was probably the easiest element.
Yeah.
Not the easiest, but like it was the one that drew you in at that age.
Most inspirational element. Yeah.
Yeah, like at that age, it was like, yo, I'm about to pop lock my ass off. I'm about to get this damn 6-step together. I'm about to burn. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of us kind of probably came in on some b-boy shit, and I was a up top cat. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. Okay, my backspin was pretty horrible. It was rugged.
Pretty horrible.
Yeah, I probably spent like about 1.5 times. You know what I'm saying? Like with the good kick, like I get the good kick back. That bitch wouldn't go around nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I just couldn't get that together. You know what I mean? So, I was up top. You know, I was that dude here. You know what I mean? I was here. Man, you know what I mean? Oh, man, look, I'll tick you to death. You know what I mean? So I understand that part. That was what, I guess got us all kind of, the music was there first, you know what I'm saying? But when you saw that B-boy, man, and you know what I mean? And graffiti, like I say, graffiti was something that, we didn't see it a lot in, where I was at. You might catch a train that was just
coming from somewhere else.
That might have had something on it, but like, it was still beautiful to me though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just grabbed me a certain way, like the whole point of it. Now we the same to you. You know what I'm saying? Like what was it for you?
Well, for me, the same thing, the dancing, and that was the first opportunity. Am I good? My volume's cool?
Yeah, all sound good, man.
Cool.
Good.
Well, yeah, dancing too, because that gave you opportunity to crew up and then learn from each other. But I guess for me, like where we were in Walterboro, South Carolina, off 95 at the time, you know what I'm saying, New York was getting crazy, so a lot of my aunties were sending my cousins down south to live.
No doubt.
So I was hearing the first generation takes, you know what I'm saying, Kumo D, boys, things of that nature, like first generation, and my cousins used to emulate those cats, so I used to be there, the little kid, just listening to them doing the hip-hop stuff when it comes to putting their rhymes together or even trying to make demos and whatnot. And then from that, started breakdancing, and then my man, we had a manager, and his cousin was the DJ, and I used to be like, yo, just be more around the DJ than breakdance, and all of a sudden spinning. But then before that, me and my crew used to go around the high school dances and try to battle other DJs for equipment when we didn't have it or whatnot.
Oh, word.
Let my man spin. Yeah, let my man, we battle for equipment. For sure. And then I had this opportunity to against my man who came from Brooklyn. His name was DJ Shaw. And older cat, seasoned cat, you know what I'm saying, kind of saw me coming up. He's like, nah, I tell you what, come under my wing and let me show you. So I was his like startup DJ and end of the night DJ when I was like maybe like 14.
Oh, that's
so we
what's
talking 84.
Yeah, that's what's
So
up.
I'm spinning like Trans Europe Express. This one cats was wearing curly kits and 3-piece suits to clubs and stuff like that. You couldn't get it with no.
You talking electro
damn
now?
gym
Yeah, you talking
suits.
electro now? Like that was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time,
yeah. So
nigga.
yeah,
But that's the
so,
forgotten.
So we
that's
all
the
got
forgotten
some.
hip
I'm
hop.
probably a little older than you cats, but probably not so much. But we all caught the same thing. So that's how it came to me. But I also knew Philly cats had some tough DJs. I knew that, Skaz, from the beginning. Cash Money tapes. Back when Cash Money and Jazzy Jeff used to be a duo together spinning, and in those tapes and whatnot.
Look, man, I think we you know, and that's the thing too. I think a lot of times, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get off of it because I can run on this forever. New Yorkers at the time, and I'm talking like from 81, like you say, Skaz, 81 to about 84. Where's Skaz go? We lost Skaz? We lost Skaz Daddy.
Look like it, you know, Skaz. He'll pop back up.
He'll get back. He'll get back. About 81 to about 84.
Good years, man. No bills. All I had to do was just play till the lights come on.
Bruh, it was free fall. Like, it was just a beautiful time. Like, but it's the forgetting. It's the not to say forget. It's the forgotten hip hop. Like, that's the stuff that cats just really won't go back and play. And I feel like that's.
You see, you taking me there already. I hear it already. I see what you're talking about already.
I you know, that's our honestly. Now, come on now. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
The bridge, that's what I'm. Oh, there you go. There go my man's. There go my man's.
He's back.
All right, so there you go. So look, so you ain't missing nothing, Skaz. We ain't we still on the same shit.
Yeah,
you ain't missing nothing. All right, so
okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So look, so now on my let's go ahead and I'm gonna keep it on track. So same thing with me. DJing was always around. Because I always came up around cats who had some kind of equipment, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And it was a piece of equipment. Nobody really had a full set. Like, nobody really had, like, the realistic mixer. Like, that might have been, you know what I'm saying, like one of the first mixers I remember with the wood grain, little wood grain sides and, you know what I'm saying, or whatever.
He had a notch in the middle.
Yeah.
That little click right there. Come on.
Bruh, see, and that, look, yeah, see, y'all talking the way I want to talk right now. We talking analog, man. This is analog talk. For all of my digital kids that's going to be watching this, all of my little homies that I be talking to about this, look, y'all talking to some analog dudes right now, okay?
Sure.
Nothing but a bunch of cords and heavy equipment. Everything was heavy, okay? Everything was heavy. All this light, everything was heavy. Big stuff. Heavy. Crates. Heavy.
You needed multiple people to help. You needed helpers.
Heavy. You know what I'm saying? Everything was heavy. You know what I mean? So, but like, all right. So look now, me and Wiz got down, and I told y'all we talked about it. We bad about years. We getting up in the years, so we forgetting the years. But I want to say me and Wiz, we got together probably around 92. 93, somewhere in there.
So early, man.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there, and
Early.
And I want to say it was through Gene Brown.
Gene Brown also, but it was also through our homie. We knew a cat named Rich.
Rich.
And me and my cat came over to the house and on the south side, Brook Hill. And you had the two SBs, and I remember because that's when Hardee's had Burger King had the 2 Whoppers for $1 or some shit like that, and we had like 8 Whoppers at the spot and whatnot.
That was our go-to. Look, that was our go-to right there.
That was my Burger King years too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Exactly. Skaz is Ronald King, and he's worked at the King. Okay, and he was the man at the King. I used to love when he was at the King, cause like I ain't gonna talk about all the food this motherfucker used to
So, D, when I met you, man, you had the crew with Bread and the Boys. Before you already had that project, then you and then Fat Daddy was there, had his project. Then you had your own project you was working on the full track. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I remember when I first met. You know, Fat Dads at the time, and I forgot the name of the production company. Yeah,
we was what was it? Fat Joint.
Honestly, it sounds like we was about the same time.
Yeah, it was. It was.
It sounded like we still was around the same time.
Same time.
It was around the same time. Calling out Skaz with you. About like I say, about the same time. My wife, Sean Still, my baby.
Yep, peace to Sean.
She's from Raleigh, and so I would come up to Raleigh, and I didn't have nobody up there, and her uncle was like, "Yo, I've been chilling with these young cats, and I'm doing a video or something like, because he was into the video thing back then." And he was like, "Yo, I was gonna do some video footage, take some pictures for him and stuff like that." And you know what I'm saying, like, you need to meet these cats. And you know what I'm saying. So I was like, "I bet." So, but I still ended up meeting you first, Skaz. Like, I think I met Ty after that. You know what I mean? Because he was okay. So let me get this quick breakdown. Skaz Daddy was DJing for this group called Bum Rush. The Bum Rush crew, right?
It wasn't Bum Rush yet. Not Bum Rush yet.
It wasn't even Bum Rush yet. No, it was 3 Below.
Exactly.
Excuse me. Yep. Let me get my hip hop thing together right now, because that's disrespectful. It's 3 Below. You know what I'm saying? My man Spin Y'all Spade. You know what I'm saying? Big Ty. Mr. Ricochet, excuse me for, you know what I'm saying.
Actually, he wasn't even Mr. Ricochet yet. At that time, he wasn't Mr. Ricochet yet. It was just
Ty.
What was it?
Ty Love.
Yeah, it was Ty Love. Just Ty Love.
Yeah, he was like a Ty Love. You know what I'm saying? So the scene was crazy and always has been in Raleigh, Durham. Like, as far as just hip hop and cats trying to do it, and just the energy. You know what I mean? It's just always been there. So when I come up, I'm like, yeah, I want to meet. You know what I'm saying? So Skaz ended up coming by. I can't remember where we was at. Like, I want to say we was over.
It might have been at Doug's, because I lived around the corner from him. Like, I think that's how you met me first, because I was close. I was living close to him, to Sean uncle. Well, yeah, I was living around the corner from him.
No doubt.
That's how we met first.
And instantly hit it off. You know what I'm saying? Instantly hit it off. Like, so every time I came to Durham or I was in Raleigh, I was hitting Skaz in them. So we built something, and then I'm going back and forth. Nasty Fruit, we had already kind of, and I want to explain that to all my people, you know what I mean, so y'all can kind of get a little history on that real quick. Wiz used to do these mixtapes, and they was called Nasty Fruit. You know what I'm saying? And me and him had started rocking. We was doing beats, you know what I'm saying, digging, you know what I'm saying, exchanging records, like, you know what I'm saying? We was on the same thing. And I had saw the mixtape, and I was like, yo, I'm really feeling that name. Like, I really feel like that just describes the type of stuff that we doing. And he was like, fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm with it. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So that's how Nasty Fruit came about, and we kind of orchestrated our sound almost around the name in a sense, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And cause he was the logo used to be a dude biting an apple and like had this nasty like little like like, you know what I mean. And so it was like, you know, I was always a melodic cat. I always, you know, was real pretty with my samples, you know what I'm saying. Wiz, he was pretty with his samples, but he was real dirty with how he would handle his drums. You know what I'm saying? So when we kind of got together, that style kind of just sounded right. You know what I'm saying? So
it did.
You know what I mean? And you had to emulate them. So let's talk about that too.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that. And also, yeah, at that point, and the name came about because me and Al had Those Without Cuts.
Oh.
Ali. So I
okay.
The unorthodox nasty African. Okay.
Yeah.
So I needed a production.
Real quick side note. First cat, because cats love to talk about how they rhyme. You know what I'm saying? You know, and
come on, man. It didn't write nothing down. That
dude was the first cat, and this is back early. And I've never seen this dude with a pen, paper, nothing. This dude was a mental Rolodex, and he would stand in a corner, or roll back, and just kind of just scroll, and then come in and just oh, okay. Now go ahead with that.
Right. So yeah. So Nasty Fruit Production, but it was just me, you know what I'm saying? And then I had the mixtape, the Igloo Production mixtapes, and you know, so I had that too. So yeah, so when I think me and Des connected and did not connect for until this point. Like we stayed in touch ever since we first met each other, just like you and Skaz did.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Same exact thing. And just with and then I always wanted the SB 1200, but I ended up getting the emulator, and you was rocking the 12 and the 1200. So just you showing me the tricks on just how to cut corners to get busy helped me, you know, a lot when it comes to that, to what I was trying to do. Because I think before that, I don't know if we met, I probably had a mixtape, but it might have been Paul's beat at that point in time. Could have been.
Them Paul's mixes, boy, was the truth.
Could have been.
Oh, just like when he met me, I was rocking a 8-second sample in a 4-track.
Word up, and was freaking.
Yeah, come on, man. Let's get it. You got to get it.
Yeah. So hey, because now same principle. Like we go back and forth. Like you say, how you saw that. I had the 2 SPs at the time, and like I say, peace to Rich, cause Rich was robbing and stealing, and he had bust somebody for a SP and brought it to my house. I didn't know at the time, but I found out later that he was doing some shit. So I had SP, extra SP, and then Fat Daddy had the SP12. So he had the one with the big disc, you know what I'm saying? I had the side floppy joint. And so I had a little bit of everything at my disposal, because Fat Daddy would go through things where he was like, yo, I'm just going to leave my equipment over here with you for a while, and then I'll come back and get it whenever. So I got all this stuff. We end up moving, my wife, my beautiful woman. We end up going to Raleigh. So we get an apartment, and I remember having the SP. Skaz come over, and I was like, yo, just take it. I was like, yo, I want to see what you going to come back with. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I want to say this dude had the SP maybe a day and a half, maybe 2 days.
Yeah, something like that. 2 days, about 2 days.
About 2 days. This dude came back with like 8 beats. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what was crazy was I have an issue with learning new shit. Okay. So I need a mentor, and then once I get it, I'm a rock out. I'm good. I know what I need to do, and I, whatever. This dude, he maybe called me one time, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even remember that really. You know what I'm saying? And came back.
Yeah, it was one particular time that you
like
just
one time. You know what I'm saying?
You showed me just the act of sampling from, showing me exactly how to get it in there. And then you showed me how to trim. And then after that, it was like, I was off to the races.
The craziness. Okay, so what? You know what though? Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna do something real quick. And you cannot. Didn't try to. I was feeling around today, y'all. I was feeling around.
Some classic material.
I was feeling around, and I was like, yo, okay, this is getting a little crazy, but I really think that this was the first beat that you played for me. Okay, so look, I'm gonna play it though, cause I know I got it, and I think that it's pissing me off that it's not playing right now. So, but the professional,
Oh yeah.
I want to say that was the first joint that you played for me, and played a couple other joints, but I ended up doing a jam over the professional.
Yeah, doing a joint.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And, and that became part of my first little MrDOLO demo. You know what I'm saying? Was the professional.
Yeah, first demo, exactly. Yep.
And like I say, that demo, we saying that's around 93.
Yeah, 93. Yep.
93. Come on, man.
94. Yeah, 94 around that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So and I'm mad. No, I'm not having that. We got to play that joint. Yeah. All right. Add a little technical difficulty. Bullshit. Same old shit. Wedge, you know what it is. Same old shit. All right, but listen, I want to flip back because I'm putting on the throwback. You know what I'm saying? I think this is one of Skaz's first SP beats. He probably don't want me to play it for nobody, but
you're right. It is.
I think this is it.
I remember that snare.
This was the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came back. I was like, what the fuck?
That Blind Alley snare.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell sample that is or nothing.
Nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the object at that time was to complete a beat on the mug. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You get the task done, and then, I mean, you're gonna have to go through that until you get to, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Hey, man.
It take me back because it sounds just like a 1200. Boy, I hear that thing.
Yeah, it's got that grit to it. It's got that grit.
Hey, bro, it's 1200. It was nothing like it, man. Like, it's just nothing like it, man.
16T probably.
Nothing like it, man. Nothing like it.
No.
And look, I want to go look. Them cuts that this dude put on this joint was bananas. Like, yo, when you would do cuts, man, I'm gonna say this. Like, both of y'all styles was very different. Y'all both are very different DJ styles. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love about y'all. Wiz, you have a very loose style. Your style, you got this. Your hands is loose, boy. Boy, your hands loose. Skaz is very technical with his cuts. It was almost like by the time he would cut on one of the joints that we would do, it's almost like a rap verse. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm memorizing his cuts just as much, but you know what I'm saying? It's like a rap verse. I'm like, this dude, he's doing these cuts to where it's like I'm memorizing these cuts, and amazing. Both of y'all dudes, and I want everybody to know that right now. These dudes is nasty on these 1200s. Nasty, okay?
First and foremost, man. First and foremost.
You know what I mean? Like, let's get back to what it's about. These dudes have put in mastery level on DJing. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about your first set, man. Did you get the Gemini set? Did you go? Did you get the Did you get the upstairs records? Remember the joint that used to be in the magazine, the upstairs records with the damn little you can get this for $1,200. You can get the Gemini turntables and the damn mixer.
That wasn't my first set. Nah, not at all. We were super low budget. Honestly, my first set, it's a beautiful story. Yes, my first set, I mean, this is what I've come to realize later on in life. I actually was DJing longer than I actually was DJing, but I wasn't calling it that because it wasn't in an official state.
No doubt.
So I wasn't considering myself a DJ at that point. My first equipment, if I do consider that, would be a component set with a turntable, a tape deck, and the radio or whatever, and making the pause mix from that. And that may have been 84, 85-ish, but I wasn't considering myself a DJ. But
no. I mean,
I wasn't considering myself a DJ. I just was doing, just doing that, just kind of,
You know what? Cause it was levels to it at that time. Like,
exactly.
You just couldn't go out and just get a whole set for like $300 and use the man. Like, you had to, you know what I mean? Like, you had to work toward a lot of that stuff back then. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, you had to earn that DJ name. Like, and then back then, let's talk about it. Back then, DJs they were kind of weighted by the weight that they brought. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because they were at the forefront.
Yeah, like they might be whack on the turntables. Like, honestly, like they might be terrible mixing, you know what I'm saying? Be dropping the wrong songs at the wrong time, all that good stuff. But they set is crazy. And they got the biggest speakers, and they got the techniques, and they got the whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, I want to go up there and kick that turntable over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Wiz, what was yours, man? What you start on?
Man, oh my gosh, man. Kind of like Skaz, I mean, first, you know what I'm saying? Setting up the 45s together so they'll fall in place, putting the meters on top of Barry White so it'll fall, you know what I'm saying? For the, that stuff before they put me to bed and they start playing cards and you smell the incense. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, we are pro cannabis here, brother. We are pro cannabis.
I was at the time, definitely at this time coming up. You can't really get across to your parents the financial benefit of me getting 2 sets of the same turntables, yet buying the same record twice to make money off of it. You couldn't kind of, so you had to team up. So if a person had one 1200, then a mama may have a Gemini, they may have a mixer. But for me, my homie Rag, DJ Rag, we all know Rag, part of Nasty Fruit.
Peace to Rag.
We were a team. So, but when Rag left high school and went to go to DeVry, he sold me his equipment.
No doubt.
It was a whole pop in there. Yeah. So, but at first, man, we went through the era where there were like the belt-driven turntables. Remember those?
Yes, sir.
Had the belts on them.
Yes, sir.
You put so wherever you can go. I just want the cut. I just want the cut, son. Right hand, trust me.
Look, man.
That's all I was worried about at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Look, like you say, that component set, and you want to cut, so you got the round knob. So you gotta go ahead and
gotta flip it back.
Yes, cut with the volume.
Look,
but see, like I said,
that's why I only got a left hand right now, because I did that for so long. You know what I'm saying? To where now the right don't even feel right. Like if it feel afflicted when I come over here, just straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got it. You got the it's one of them arts you definitely got to practice at. And I remember just practicing cuts. So if I heard say the Marley scratch, his scratches, I'll be imitating them shits in my head, or you know what I'm saying, or just different cuts, you know what I'm saying, just try to mimic them, but then add your own little flavor to it. But that's funny you say that about your stronger hand, because it's almost out of necessity, because the best needle was on the left side. So the turntable with the better needles on the left side. So that
hand gonna get the development. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's gonna be the development hand. You know
yes, sir.
I mean?
Yes, sir.
Classicness. So look, like now, this is what I'm trying to really kind of break down. We all had to kind of see 70% of the elements throughout some point coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like it was almost like it was in you to be a part of all of it. You know what I'm saying? As where nowadays is they're just seeing one side, or like now, but we can say this, you know, the resurgence of the DJ is back. I'm happy for that. You know, the Skaz, you can attest to that, you know what I mean, with, you know what I'm saying, you can attest to that. The DJ is back, and the DJ is pretty much the man right now, and the producer has just as much front as any MC right now at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a level game to a certain degree, depending on, and that's what I want to do with this, depending on the bridge that is there for people to know that is out there. And I think that's being lost somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's our generation fault. I think our generation, we was there to see it all, and there was some cats that was there before us, but they were on that bubble of where, you know, I'm already about too old, so it's almost like the forefathers only the ones that kind of still just kind of rep that hip hop. You know what I mean? When you talking about the Kaz's and you talking about, you know what I mean, them type of heads that was truly embedded in it. They still kind of
first school, but they still like connoisseurs of it.
Yeah, but now our generation that came up after them, you know, we truly saw it from being true kids, like these cats, where we the first generation that was kids and growing up with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we were true kids.
We weren't growing up in it. We were growing up with it.
Yeah, exactly.
We were the first class they taught. We were the first class they taught as time.
Exactly. Best way to put it. And I think that's what I'm trying to do in so many ways in other things. It's like it's a gap that's missing. And I think the verses kind of did that to me. It was like, it's such a gap that okay, it's up to us to go ahead and start trying to make that gap smaller. And then maybe the things that we're hearing that they're doing, it will evolve. But it's so many outlets, like the worth of hip hop is just went down so much, because there's so many outlets and so many ways that you can just easily there's no filters that you have to go through in order to be out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no...
Yeah, because you could be so self-contained and make it to a certain level if you just know how to maneuver with how the technology is now.
Exactly. It's so accessible now. Like, you know what I'm saying? We had to kind of really jump through some hoops and really
For
do some
sure.
things, or just be blessed and happen to just fall into
In the
something
right
that
in the right position, and then you just showed and proved at the right time.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So is that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get this bridge to go. So it's like if I can get one young head to sit in and listen to some of the things that we're talking about, and understand that the history is just as important as the now. You know what I'm saying? So let me go back to this verses real quick, man. I gotta go. What I want to get both of y'all take, because it was so classic. It was so, to our generation, I know this was big. This was, you know what I'm saying, anything could have happened. I think they handled themselves very classy. It got a little rocky a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? But Big Daddy stayed in his pocket as one of the, classiest dudes in the game, and didn't take the bait, didn't fall in, you know what I mean, or whatever. But I want to get y'all take on it. And Skaz, you being Big Daddy Kane's road DJ for 20 plus right now, I believe, like if not more than that, you know what I'm saying? I personally had an issue not seeing you on stage, but I don't know. It was just great for hip hop. Let's just say it like that. Like, cause Kane, like I can go back and forth. Kane did like 4 freestyle verses, like 4 joints that ain't nobody ever heard before, and they was incredible. But you got to rewind them back to hear all of the shit he was saying. Like, you couldn't get all that shit in that live. You know what I'm saying? But Wiz, tell me. Go ahead,
Man, look, but first of all, I would say people don't know Kane been performing. He ain't never stopped performing. So it's not like he came off the street and just was, you know what I'm saying? He was ready and prepared.
Both
And
of
for
them.
me, it's like a DC Marvel thing. I try to enjoy both of them, but if you're trying to make me choose, I look at it like this. Chris, of course, he had the hits throughout the decades, but Kane's performance, it wasn't a lot of call and response.
No.
Kane was running through that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, his breath control was
Yes,
incredible.
yeah.
Like, the dude is clear and precise. You know what I'm saying? Like, you saw
Nah,
some.
Chris, my boy too. You know, I love Chris. That's like my top 3. Him, Rakim, Kane.
They, if you're in our age bracket or our era per se, those two is in your top 5. That's just a given. And I feel like the way that I'm gonna tell you, really, I wasn't upset about the whole scenario because I knew what was going on ahead of time. So that's why I didn't have an issue. I knew what was going on. But this is what the whole thing was about. And I think that's what made it so dope, but it didn't go all the way like it was supposed to. That's why it may have seemed rocky. It was supposed to be.
Yeah, give us the inside, man. I need this.
It was supposed to be. Yeah, it was supposed to be them performing. They do 10 songs.
Okay.
Then they do 3 freestyles or 4 freestyles back and forth. Then they're going to do a DJ battle, and they're going to do a B-boy battle. That's why it was supposed to go that way. It partially went that way, but it kind of got off track, but then it went somewhere else. Then they had to try to bring it back. Like the people who are looking at this now, they don't even know what a real hip hop battle is. DJ battle. They think the DJ battle was 2 DJs playing songs. They don't know it's about certain skill sets and all that. So they was trying to bring that to the youth so they could see what's supposed to go on in that element. That's what was supposed to happen. It just didn't go down that way, but it was supposed to happen that way. So it's like, but even the freestyles, you see Kane did all the freestyles. KRS didn't.
Yeah.
He went back to doing songs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it kind of threw off.
Now the KRS
exactly.
Come off the dome one time, and
when
he
actually did it. He did an incredible freestyle one time.
Yeah. Now look,
one time he did an incredible.
I was very critical about this thing. You know what I'm saying? So KRS did like one freestyle, and he couldn't grab it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
know, I mean, he did one that wasn't all the way right, but then he did one that was
incredible. He came back, and when he grabbed it, it was like, there he go. Oh,
yeah, he did one that was incredible.
He doing that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
then he never got back. He never got back to that. He never got back on that.
But you know what? I also looked at, Chris, he's arrogant, right? He's like, look, they all of them know my words. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see that too. A little bit of that. Like,
but let's be realistic though. Let's be realistic. In a performance sense, do you like that when somebody performs and do that most of the time they performing? Do you like seeing that as a fan?
No, I don't. You know what I mean?
I don't.
So it all just depends. It all depends on what you're into. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's about I think that
because I'm not into that either. I want to hear them saying. I don't want to
do it as a concert. It wasn't.
That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. As a performance.
I think that.
Do you want to see this as a fan?
I think that Chris got caught up. He got real hype, and he lost the connection that this is on camera. Like,
like the visual connection.
Center,
the visual.
I think he really just got caught up in the show thing. So he just started the crowd is giving him his verses. So he like,
I mean that's dope. Don't get me wrong, that's dope.
Yeah, he went full roster, and then when he went full roster, that's when I knew he was super hype. Like by the middle of the show, he had calmed down. He had kind of got into his zone. You know what I mean? Like he was just stupid hype at the beginning. Like he was ridiculously hype. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I kind of felt like it was feeling like he was losing the energy because he was too hype, and he kind of lost a little bit of gas until he got right.
But then he got right. Yeah, like I say,
until he got right.
He got it settled in. It was like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? And it just started. It started feeling everything's like. Cause the last joint he did.
No, that last joint was crazy.
I ain't heard nobody really talk about that, but that last.
But because I'm gonna tell you, they ain't talk about it because by that time they done heard all the hits, so that don't even matter. Like that was just a bonus. You know what I'm saying? They weren't paying that much attention to it. Like you said, some people was paying attention, but barely. Because I ain't heard that one before, so I don't know what that is. Nah. You know how people do.
Man, that's the sad part about this time. And I'm trying what I want to do, I want to help change their minds about that, man. Like, we need to be excited about hearing new things from these artists. You know what I mean? And
that's real.
Like I say, the whole point of this is hip hop over 40, man. So like, I'm gonna ask y'all right now. Is there a place for the 40, 50-year-old MC now? And I'm talking like, Chris is always gonna have a spot. He Kane is always gonna have a spot. But somebody that's been rocking the same amount of time and rocking just as long, do you think that they even have a place in this industry? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna throw that to either one of y'all right now. Like, I really think
that's been rocking, but they just still haven't.
You know what? I
got
think
past the world.
There's a stigma with the 40-year-old rapper. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
It is.
And it's like you're a clown. You know what I mean? Like rapping is like basketball. Like you should only be rocking from 19 to about if you can lucky enough to rock till you're about 30 something. And then you come back and do the All-Star games and the celebrity joints and whatever. But our generation, I lived this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop is a part of my life. I brought up my kids hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people don't even know that they hip hop and they hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even know it. Like they don't even know what to call it. You know what I'm saying? But being in that space, you know what I'm saying? It's like if I want to do music, if I want to DJ, if I want to whatever, I think it's a stigma on it. You know what I mean? So, I want to get people opinion. Like I want to see it cause let's be honest. Have we yet to have a successful over 40 artist that ain't lied about their age when they came out?
I mean, first you mean who I mean,
you mean who started around that?
That you didn't hear about them until you didn't hear about them.
Oh, okay. No, I got you.
You didn't hear about them until
But
well on. Yeah,
I think things done changed now. It doesn't really matter because nobody really making money. So I think I mean, only a few are. I'm sure there are some are, but I'm saying for a cat, if you want to do your music, I think you can shoot your music for the demographics you want it to right now.
Of course, you can.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, and I guess it's easy for me to say because I'm not an MC. I'm a producer, so I'm always doing what I do, and doesn't matter or what's going on outside of me. But
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said
looking from my standpoint, I want to hear good music, so it doesn't matter who give it to me and where I find it, young or old. You feel me? So I think when you think that way, I think it may hinder you. But then again, there's a story to write about, make an album about that shit.
No doubt. And I want to say plug Soul Frequency. Released by DJ WIZdom. Yeah.
It goes well with Smoke.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna have links in the bio. You know what I mean? To go check this man. You know, you got a SoundCloud, got a Bandcamp support. You know what I mean? The album was crazy. My favorite joint was the title joint. That joint get me hype. When I put that on to get Gorilla on niggas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, straight up. Like when I'm in here and I'm trying to get my thing up, I put on that Soul Frequency, man, and that I get pumped. You know what I'm saying? Skaz, same with you. I'm put bios in the link. Skaz has Mixcloud. You know what I'm saying? He got a bunch of mixes up there. He do the Soul Train Saturdays. Big fan of that joint. I have used your mixes to rock many cookouts.
Great.
And I pop up on cat. Yeah, look, I pop up on Cat's Cookout and be like, yo, y'all music trash. Look, let me get the
That's what I'm talking about.
I dropped one of them Soul Train Saturdays on their ass board, and the whole party just changed. The whole cookout just turned into something else, man, something special. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put links down there in the bottom for that too. Cause niggas need to hear this. Like people need to know that y'all are putting this music out. And I think that's the bridge that I'm talking about. Like, okay, let's talk about this real quick. I had Ski on, right? Yep. And he was coming from a place where he like, look, you gotta build your own universe within this thing, the way this thing is built. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, 1,000 fans a cat can live, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And the way this thing is spread out, I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. You know what I mean? That makes total sense. You can't knock it. But my thing is, I have yet to see somebody do it.
I mean, it's
out there. Honestly, I can't say I've yet to see somebody do it. I see people do it, but it's just like you saying. It's like you got to be exposed to that avenue to know that somebody's because prime example is this. I'm on tour and doing shows with a lot of these over 40 artists.
No doubt.
That are consistently still putting out music, that are still consistently touring, that are still killing it on the merch, they do this stuff consistently and they live for doing this. Like they might not be played on the radio every second that you hear, or they might not be doing this or that for the masses to see, but they have their core fan base that support them in what they do, and it sustains their living within hip-hop.
No doubt.
It might not be like making millions, but they sustain a living where they living still off of hip-hop.
But now look, let's say this too. Those cats had a seed that was planted. You know what I mean? Like those cats they had a fame at some point that can still produce a core.
I got you.
I think a lot of times now, like, I'm on SoundCloud heavy. You know what I mean? I'm on Bandcamp heavy. The DJ in me is always looking for that cat. Look, I want to hear some of that put the grin on my face. I'm always, that's what got me into hip hop. Yeah, true. You know what I mean? I was, that's what got me in. I was addicted to hearing that thing that just made me be like, oh shit, like, oh my God, like. So I'm constantly looking for it.
Fan first still. Fan first.
Word. You know what I mean? Peace. Let's say word on that. Word.
Fan first still. Like regardless that we do music, fan still.
Love the music.
And I think that this generation loses sight of that part. That's why it's been got so watery and so because like they act like they can't be a fan and still be an artist at the same time. True. That's what this generation does. I don't know why, but they do it.
But I mean, I don't want to get too deep into that right there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I think that's what the disconnect kind of is.
I want to save that one for another time, and I also want to have one of my young cats in the building
for their part.
Yeah, because I think it's important. Oh, my bad, dog. I think it's important that that they're here to represent that side, because like I say, when I talk to the young heads, they got a place, but that's the place that they are coming from. It makes sense because the bridge is not. It was something disconnected.
Yeah, it's never been a bridge. Yes, it's always been a disconnect.
Somewhere within like 2000 to 2007 or something, like, you know what I mean. It was a gap that got lost, and nobody pushed what was before them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that makes sense. So. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and it kind of, to me, that's what kind of drives what's happening right now. Like, it's okay to have on the same Adidas pants, or it's okay to wear the same Jordans, you know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, a Jordan is a little different because, you know, it's a status thing. I love Jordans, don't get me wrong. But nobody has a problem pretty much doing the same
emulating
thing.
or following somebody.
You're
exactly.
almost revered for
doing that.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's bullshit.
Yeah, so that would say, but that's for another day, and we're gonna talk about a lot of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But right now, real quick before we go out of here, since I got two amazing DJs and producers in the building.
Wait, hold up.
What's up?
I was just thinking about some. Also, just to make mention before we get out of there, because I was just thinking about it as we talked about it, because I've had these talks with my son, and I think also it's communication and how we communicate. And show them, or not show them, but help them realize what we're doing. We're all in the same cause. But also what you're doing by having this discussion on a medium where this is where they communicate. YouTube, the other platforms like this. This is how we get and tap into that frequency where we can, you know, put a little bit of this in there in that atmosphere. So this is a start of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's the goal. That's the goal right now. We are analog dudes, man, and we trying to help this digital world understand what this wideness is. They missing this wideness, man. They need the wideness. They need the width. They need the width. So, all right. So look, real quick. I gotta throw this out because a lot of cats always do top 5.
There you go. Yeah, it's just a casual conversation.
Because I have some real deal hip hop heads in here, I'm gonna go a little different with this top 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm going very left field with this top 5, and I'm hoping some names gonna come out of this top 5 that's gonna make some heads go and be like, "Ooh, I forgot about them cats." You know what I'm saying, or whatever, what have you. So now, real quick, I'm gonna hit you first, Skaz. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear your top 5 hip-hop producers.
Hip-hop producers?
Hip-hop producers,
just
man.
Producers.
And I mean, no, hip-hop producers. And I can say now, a lot of hip-hop producers, they wavered. They've all kind of crossed the line a little bit here and there. But I'm saying the ones who founded they gained off of MCs rapping on their beats.
Okay.
That top 5 producers, hip hop producers, and like I say now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I feel what you're saying. A Timberland and a Pharrell, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. They were, and to me are still hip hop producers within the basis of how they make their music. You know what I'm saying? Like Timberland. He is a hip hop producer, like, you know.
Yeah, of course.
The fact that his music has been accepted as pop, and he's done music for, you know, some R&B heads, and, you know, the basis or whatever, you know, that's a whole nother thing. But he's not excluded, but at the same time, yeah, he's excluded.
Yeah, I was honestly. I was thinking even bigger than that. So
but that's what I'm saying. Like top 5, and like I said, I'm not trying to give you no kind of bar. I'm not trying to put you in no kind of bubble. You
I got
name
you.
it. You name it.
But you just said hip hop producers. Now we good. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I was saying producers or just hip hop producers.
Hip hop producers.
All right, I got you.
Know what I'm saying?
Hip hop
producers. Inspire or just people we like? Inspire or people we like or just
whatever. Whatever.
Whatever make your top five.
Yeah,
that's what make your
yeah,
top five.
for whatever reason. For whatever reason.
That's what make your top five. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Go, Skaz.
All right. My top 5 producers, no particular order.
One does not mean that's your favorite.
Yeah. I would have to say DJ Premier.
Yes, sir.
I would have to say Dr. Dre.
Yes, sir.
I would have to say Jay Dilla.
The GOAT.
I would have to say Pete Rock.
And what's crazy is it's been dominated by just a handful of heads. So it's hard for now these are the names that's gonna break through. That fifth one. That those are the names that I'm like, yeah, like you gotta fill it in. You know what I'm saying? And these gonna be the ones that I think gonna mess with heads. Yeah. Let me hear that fifth one, man.
Honestly, my fifth right now probably would be a tie.
Okay, let me hear it.
Just Blaze and Knots.
Ooh. Let me take something.
Tough.
Before I say anything about that last tie joint, called Wiz.
Whoa.
Top 5, man. Top 5 producers, man. Top 5 hip hop producers. The dudes that do that boom bap the way you like it.
The way I love it. Of all time, it don't just whatever comes on my because I got a top 25.
No
of
doubt.
Course.
No doubt.
No doubt. So top 5, one Marley Marl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Marley Marl.
Inspirational.
Yeah.
Man, what you mean? Peace to Marley Marl, man.
Mantronics.
Ooh.
Man, I'll listen to Cole getting done.
And a lot of these guys I feel they my peers. You know what I'm saying? Some of these other
kids. No, they are, but it's like we just judge, we just throwing them random because
I just talk about shit. But I got it.
I'm hoping that on the next one we're
gonna have to play. I think I got it. I know I'm gonna miss somebody. Okay, so we got Marley, Mantronics, Easy Mo B, Q-Tip, and Preem and Pete Rock.
There you go.
They're on the thumb finger. Those two together.
No doubt.
And digging in the crates, we didn't say showbiz and other cats.
You got honorable mentions. You know, but I just threw out a 5 that I thought about. That's kind of at the top of my list. But like I said, it fluctuates.
But those are pinnacle dudes. Like those dudes.
Extra P needs to be somewhere around there.
Extra P's in there.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, the whole Digging in the Crates crew, from Diamond D to Dope Finesse to So they all around, like you say, it's hard to say your favorite 5. I mean, that's why I was like, I had to give a tie to somebody to make it 5. You know what I'm saying? You even make it 5 at the time.
Because you feel like you're disrespecting one of the producers because you love them the same way. You know what I'm saying?
It's like it's love for all of them. Like you said, Q-Tip, all of them is like these are cats that were monumental in shaping the hip hop of our era. You know what I'm saying? And they were influential in addition.
Hey,
that
Eric Sermon, man.
Yes.
Sermon, come on. No, I mean, come on. We could do this forever. We got Nick.
We can do it for days. We can do it for days, really. So it's like that's why it's really hard to just
So tell me who y'all feeling right now. We in a producer time right now. Like out of the cast.
Dolo and Skaz Daddy.
No doubt.
No, for sure. That's what's up.
No doubt.
I mean, it's kind of hard because with the streaming, it don't give you producer credits as much.
True. True. It's
You know what
hard
I'm
to
saying?
kind
It's
of
kind
get
of unless
credits
you
on albums
Google
like
the
that.
shit.
Nah, they do. You just gotta like
Spotify. That's
if you got title, they do. They
Yeah,
show credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, there's cats out there. I mean, it's
If you
crazy.
got Amazon, they show credits too. It just depends. It just depends.
And it's like DJing. You know what I'm saying? You got cats that do the finger drumming stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's mean with it. Yeah.
It's
Right,
it's
it's
all
just a
over
whole
the
nother
place
game.
now with it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
it's a
saying?
whole
So
nother
it
game.
all
Yeah.
depends what you like. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so. But that's my top 5. Did you name yours, Dolo? I don't think you did.
Okay.
Nah, not yet.
Here we go. Cause you already look. Cause my top 5 is gonna consist of most of y'all top 5. So that's why I was like, let me let these guys go.
And that give
they
you opportunity to name something else because
they
you're gonna
They
last.
gonna soak up everything. All right. So look, what I'll do then is I'll do my top 5 honorable mentions. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's what I'll do. Okay. So look,
The host, the host got the Joker card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
so, hey, just to get these names out there. You know
I'm in
what
control.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's praise them. Give them their flowers,
let's
man.
get,
The digital
look,
flowers.
like I say, I'm Eric Sermon. You know, got to get Eric his flowers. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Sermon, woo-wee.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mean with it.
Look,
What?
K Def.
Yes.
Yeah.
Light fingers too on the cuts. Light hand. Very light hand.
He was slight, but
He had a run. He
Cut his ass. He cut his ass off too.
Look
Now.
here.
Yeah.
Now,
But I feel like I think K Def don't get as much credit because he was hardly understudied.
Yeah, I remember those days.
True.
I think that's why he doesn't get as much credit as he probably deserves.
I feel
You know, he's incredible, but I think he doesn't get notoriety to the masses like that because he was an understudy of Marley pretty much.
No doubt. And like I say, the stuff that he was involved with, a lot of cats probably don't even know that he had a hand in.
Well, I keep it froze like Heron in your nose. You mean that one?
Woo.
Yeah, real life shit.
Come on, man.
That was his actual group.
Joint. Yeah,
that was his group.
Yeah, that was his joint. That joint
Coming
was.
out.
Yeah, that was his group.
Let me keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Cake down.
Teddy Riley.
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
of course.
Teddy Riley's hip hop.
Teddy Riley, man. Cause I was a dancer and.
Oh no, Teddy was that nigga.
Teddy was giving them boys that he
and birthed a lot of niggas.
Yes,
But
sir.
wait.
You know, like, yo,
you think about it, what Teddy was doing. Even if I don't know if he was median back then, he was making a drum track, then playing keys over drum tracks. It's freaking hip hop.
Word up, and with break beating his ass off. Like
Yes.
this he would chop up some shit
Because he was hip hop with it. He was hip hop with it.
And
he almost brought. I might even say he was the one to really bring hip hop into the R&B / whatever else. Like kind of one of the first to bring it all the way over.
Definitely good bridge. Because people fail to realize, like when we were coming up, we didn't get hip hop till 10 o'clock at night. Cats don't remember that crap.
And
it might have been on the weekend.
You was lucky if you got more than 2 hours.
2 hours usually is the max. 2 hours the max.
So hearing Groovy Baby using,
we got it on Sunday.
Exactly.
We got it on Sunday afternoon. Like Sunday, like I think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock or something. So we got it for like early evening. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it was one day a week. It was, maybe 2-3 hours, but it was only one day a week.
They moved up to Friday and Saturday. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? They moved up to Friday and Saturday. And
that's why that Teddy Riley helps. That's why Teddy Riley helps, because you hear Groove Me and he got Champ in it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He got breaks.
Like, yo, it's that hip hop.
Hey, man. Yeah. Look, I love this. I love talking to you guys about this stuff. I think everybody need to be able to talk about this. You need to talk about this to your kids, your grandkids. Let them know what you came up listening to. And turn them on to it. You know what I mean? Like the same way we was turned on to, Marvin Gaye and OJ. Like turn your kids on to some damn EST. Like turn your kids on to some 3 Times Dope, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let if you don't know who 3 Times Dope is, go find them and turn them on. You know what I'm saying? Let them hear that. Let them hear another side of the game. You know what I mean? Like it's so many hits. But brothers, I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm mad because we had them technical difficulties. I ain't get to hear no beats. We had
part two. We did part two.
That's what we gonna do. So you know what
Sure.
I mean. We're gonna get together in about. I want to make it in about a week or two, and I want us to just do nothing but play some music, man. We need to play some music. But
that's what's up, my brother.
Let's do it. I love you guys. Let's keep
love y'all too, man.
This thing. Look, y'all are watching MrDOLOTV. All right, hit the subscribe. Put a comment down in there. Hit the notification because I'm about to crank up. I'm about to try to get going right now. Once again, everybody look in the bottom in the comment section. I want y'all to check out these links. Soul Frequency, DJ WIZdom, Kenyatta got it down. Skaz Daddy, he's all over everything. He's on YouTube. He's on Mixcloud. He's on Twitch.
And Dolo, tell them how they say it. Fruit
Biatch. That's how it go down. So everything gonna be in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
peace, y'all. Y'all be safe,
Y'all
man.
hold it down till the next time.
Peace.